I'm Sony Santa Monica, Let's Just Magic. We got a lot to go through. This is the week of March 2nd, 2014. Let's get started. PlayStation Plus got updated for March. People will be getting Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition, which is a re-release of the PlayStation 3 game. It's also coming to Vita. That was announced last year at E3, but there's no word on the Vita version yet. But it will be coming to PlayStation 4 this upcoming weekend, March. For PlayStation Plus, it will be free. Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 3, that version will now be free, also for PlayStation Plus. The Next Gen Definitive Edition was released last month, and Trevor reviewed it and liked it. You can read his review on illustriousmagic.com. Thomas Was Alone is a Vita platformer game that came out last year as well as for PS3. It will now be free for both platforms this upcoming March. Lone Survivor, the Director's Cut, which is a psychological survival horror game, a game where choice matters and the way you're going to survive. That will also be free. That's only on PlayStation 3, though. Unit 13 on the Vita, which is a very underrated Vita game that came out during its launch about 2 years ago. That will also be free for Vita users. It's a third-person action game from the same people who did SOCOM, Zipper Interactive. Rest in peace, they are dead now. The developer has been shut down for about a year now. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, which is actually a PlayStation portable game. It's a very old game, but it is now available for free for Vita users. Monster Hunter series is very popular, especially in Japan. I've never tried it, though. Ground Zeroes, this is the Metal Gear Solid 5 tutorial, Ground Zeroes. It has now been had a price drop for current or gen versions, technically next gen since it's PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Those versions will now cost you $30 instead of $40 at retail. Which is nice. It's a $10 drop. It still costs $30 to download it on the next-gen platforms, and it also costs $30 still to buy it retail for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, but it is also the cheapest digitally for $20 for PlayStation Network Store and the Xbox Live Arcade Store. Also, Persona. Lots of Persona games happening. Persona 4, Dancing All Night. It's a dancing rhythm tapping game on your Vita. So, you know, if you like rhythm tapping games for the touchscreen stuff, you can get that now. Also, Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. Now, this is the one that I'm interested in because it's a mix match of Persona 3 and Persona 4, those characters. Just like they were mix matched in Persona 4 Arena, they will now be mix matched in a Etrian Odyssey-like game for the 3DS. So that's very cool. Persona 4, the Ultimax Ultra Suplex Hold, is a continuation of Persona 4 Arena for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. That will also be coming to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 here in the West. And lastly, Persona 5 has been confirmed for a North American release in 2015. So that's a year out from now. It's going to be coming out in Japan later on this year, probably winter-ish 2014 for the Japanese audience. Papers, Please might be coming to the Vita. Now, Lucas Pope, who is the developer behind the great game Papers, Please, which came out on PC this past year, he was in an interview and he was talking about how half of him wants to do it himself to port it to the Vita, and half of him wants to give it to a third party and have them port it to the Vita instead. Now, the PlayStation 4 came out in Japan, and it sold over 300,000 units. I believe the specific number is 322,073 units. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but comparing the population of the US to Japan, the numbers are actually very similar, and in relation to the population to the number of people who bought it, it's only a 0.08% difference. And then also, if you compare it to the UK sales, which are actually the strongest selling sales for the PlayStation 4, it's not that much different either. So Japan actually had a really strong launch, much stronger than the PlayStation 3 launch, because when the PlayStation 3 launched, it only sold 443,000 units. So not that much, only 88,000. Next up, so PlayStation Store got updated. For the PlayStation 4, you have Thief and Basement Hunter. On the PlayStation 3, you have Thief, Castelvania Lords of Shadow 2, Tales of Symphonia Chronicles, and Magus. On the Vita, you have a Mahjong game. If you like playing Mahjong, you can try that out. For PlayStation Plus, Mod Nation Racers Road Trip on the Vita is free. Lots of sales. You got Hotline Miami, Porteous, Killzone Mercenary, Escape Plan, Flow, Flower, Far Cry 3, Diablo 3, Dragon's Crown, Guacamelee, Injustice, Gods Among Us, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time, Tales of Xillia, Terraria, The Wolf Among Us, Prince of Persia, Revelations, Rival Swords, The Forgotten Sands, Starhawk, Warrior Origins, and various Tom Clancy games. Twitch Plays Pokemon recently finished their first playthrough on Pokemon Red. They have just begun their second playthrough on Pokemon Gold, Crystal, Silver, those versions, which are my personal favorite versions of all the Pokemon games. They're now playing through those. The Twitch Plays Pokemon, they had a lot of stuff that they had to get through. They beat the Giovanni Gym Ledge, because in Pokemon Red there is a small ledge before you enter the Giovanni Gym. And so basically, of course, the trolls kept pushing down, so they weren't able to get through it until a very long amount of time. Then they had to get to the Victory Road ledge, where you actually have to go down before you can go left. So obviously, people kept pushing down, and they couldn't get through it. It took them like hours and days to get through it. But they finally beat the Pokemon League, the Elite Four, and Blue as well, their rival, and they finally defeated that game after about 17 days and 7 hours. So congratulations to them, and we'll see how long it takes them to get through Gold. In other news, Space Jam 2 is apparently happening. Space Jam is a very popular cult hit almost for the Warner Brothers movie makers. They were able to put out Space Jam in 1996, and it raked over $200 million. And now they're making a sequel, finally, after about 16 years. Now, it's supposed to be starring LeBron James, and it's also going to be headed by Charlie and Willie Ebersol. They haven't really done that much. They've done some TV stuff and some small movie-type stuff, but they're not that big on movie stars, but they should be fine with handling Space Jam 2. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it goes good. Some smaller news, Infamous Second Son goes gold. That is good news for us because that means it won't be delayed and we'll actually have our hands on it very soon. Titanfall also went gold. The beta just closed recently and now it's going to be about 2 weeks now until it comes out. That's very exciting because Titanfall looks really good. The Walking Dead Season 2 Episode 2 got a release date, March 4th. This Tuesday it will be out on all different platforms. Not the Vita yet because that version is going to take a while to get through. Now, the new Tony Hawk game has been rumored. I don't know how this is going to go, but Tony Hawk 2 is one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 2 and also influenced me in the way that I love video game soundtracks. No more Wi-Fi service for Wii and the DS. Now, this mostly only affects online play, such as Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros., which didn't really work that well anyway, so it doesn't matter. This does not affect, say, Netflix or Hulu Plus or any of those internet apps that you can use on the Wii. Why would you use it on the Wii? I don't know. You have the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, which probably have much better versions of that app, and also streams it in HD. No more Call of Duty Elite. Now, this is very puzzling because Call of Duty Elite was this little companion app thing that they put aside on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. They're getting rid of it now. They're replacing it with the Call of Duty app. Okay, sure, who cares? Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare came out. Now, that looks like a really fun game. It's only available on Xbox One, which sucks, but for Xbox One owners, it's a great game to have, especially because Titanfall isn't out yet. So this is the way you can get your multiplayer fix on before Titanfall comes out. Now, Godzilla movie looks really good. New trailer came out, looks really, really, really awesome. It reminds me of Cloverfield, which I was a very big fan of. It also reminds me little bits of Pacific Rim, mostly because it's giant monsters destroying cities. Or, in this case, a giant monster. Although it has been rumored that he will take on other monsters as well, which you can actually see in the trailer. Layoffs at Sony Santa Monica. Unknown game was canceled. Probably not God of War, because God of War sells really well. Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus was rated for Vita. It was rated by the ESRB. They're usually really good at predicting what games are going to come out because they're the official way to rate games. So if they rated a game, it's pretty probably going to come out to that system. Castelvania Lords of Shadow 2 was reviewed. That game, probably not very good. I was watching Adam Sessler and Anthony Carboni on Rev3 stream it, and it looked really boring. Do not care for that game. Don't pick it up. Assassin's Creed 5 will have no samurai. Sad face. But that's the news for this week. If you liked the video, you can like it, subscribe to our channel, check out other stuff. You can follow us on Twitter with all the links and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully I got through this in less than 5 minutes.